This is our first year participating, so feel free to give us feedback at the end. And also, just so you know, we will be manning our booth from 6 to 7 Eastern time, which is where we are. We're located in New Hampshire. So feel free to give as much time as you want after the show, etc. at that trade show booth. I'll be happy to answer any questions or anything. All right, we're a little bit after 4. Shannon, are we good to go? Or should we wait a few minutes? Okay, awesome. So I'm with Service Company Solutions. We're the company that has the appliance Blue Book, My Parts Help, etc. We built a suite of products, redid everything that we had been doing for the last 12 years and put it into a new platform that's more efficient, etc. But more about the presentation that I'm doing today. This has more to do with how it can help your business as opposed to us trying to sell products. So as we're doing this, I'm going to be talking about the benefits to your company, how it can save you both in time, mistakes, improve efficiencies, and then making sure that you're charging professional rates. Now, just kind of a FYI, I am not great at monitoring a chat and running a presentation at the same time. So I will ask if you can to save your questions towards the end. If you feel like it's something that we may miss, feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question live. But I won't be able to see the chats until I'm kind of done with the presentation. So just a kind of a heads up, that's one of my own ways of presenting. I'm not great at that. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's see if I can figure out how to make all of this work. There we go. So we've created a suite of 3 products. And the first one is MPH Diagnostics. What this is meant to do, using closed service tickets, it will take and help you pre-diagnose before you go out. So what are the common parts that have been used on an appliance before? What was the customer complaint and which parts are related to that complaint? And then also, was other parts used at the same time? So if I'm putting in this user interface, was there anything else that was required? And what's the percentage of time that was required? So 77% of the time when you use the user interface, you also need to put in a control board. So the system will help you kind of pre-diagnose that. The next thing that it will do is help with customer service agents having more information for scheduling. So if the customer calls in, gives them the model number, tells them what the complaint is, the CSR can go into this tool, look and see if that highlights any parts and actually see whether or not those parts are in stock. And if they're not, schedule the customer out a day or 2 later so that you're not making 2 calls just to find out you could have had the part with you when you went out to start. So the idea here is increasing your first call completes. Better scheduling will help with that, etc. So overall, it's a multiple savings in time by using the tool. The next that we have is our MPH search tool, and that allows you to see all of your parts vendors on one screen using one search. So it works with your individual accounts with those vendors, and it shows all of the results on one screen along with pictures. If you connect your inventory, then you can actually see your own inventory in that same screen, etc. And then the last piece that we're going to go over today is going to be customizable professional pricing for professional service. So I know a lot of self-servicing dealers and servicing dealers often underprice their repair labor, and they look at it kind of as a loss leader, but you don't necessarily need to do that. And the nice thing about our system is it's all customizable. So based on your cost of doing business, you can adjust it and tweak it for your specific market. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. The 3 products, which we call the Blue Book Suite, is Appliance Blue Book, the MPH Diagnostics, and the MPH Search. And I heard somebody in the backward. Did you have a question? No? Okay, we'll keep going. All right, our first one is the MPH Diagnostics. We call it a triage tool. It's using parts data from closed service tickets, and it creates actionable service information. Now, when we say this means if it's a brand new model that just came out this year and it's been selling for a month or two, there's not going to be any data in here because it's a brand new, nobody's done service on it. So that's one of the things you have to kind of keep in mind if you're only working on brand new things that haven't been on the market for very long. There's not going to be a lot of data in the triage, but anything else, once it starts getting service, it's going to take and have all of those repairs and that information. This is going to help you with your first call completes. The idea here is if you can go out with a part on the truck that you think it's going to be to diagnose it, then it's going to save you a second trip. If your average service call to go out is, say, $110, two service calls going out, you're breaking even. If you have to make 3 trips, you're now losing money. So one of the things that we like to do is to help people get that first call complete if possible. Triage before you go out on the call. Again, the idea here is if we can save that trip, that means one more service call you can run in the course of the day, which means more profitability for the company. Common issues based on the model number. And again, if you're going in and putting in a model number, it's going to highlight the top 10 parts. It will show you everything that's been repaired, but it's going to highlight the top 10. It's going to search by customer reported issues. So it's not heating, it's leaking, it's not coming on, whatever. You type that in and it's going to try to highlight the parts that are related to that customer complaint. If other parts were used, I kind of explained that earlier. You can use it inside of Service Desk software or ePass software. See the top parts used numbers for each model. So the nice thing is if it is a common with a common repair or a common model with lots of repairs, you're going to be able to find those part numbers really quick because they're going to be highlighted on the left-hand side of the screen. You'll see that in just a second. And then it helps you to provide better customer service, which we'd mentioned a second ago about being able to say, oh, based on this, I don't have this part, so let's schedule you for tomorrow afternoon, have this part in stock, okay? The next one is our MPH search tool. What this is, it allows you to enter one part number and search all your part distributors at once. So it returns everything onto one screen. You can do it. It just takes a second or so. It's very fast. It loads directly based on your company information. So you see your branches that you're buying from, etc. Already did that one. It helps save a job for NLA or no longer available parts or hard to find parts. So with all the part shortages, this has been a real lifesaver for a lot of companies being able to track down parts that are showing out of stock. You can find parts from all the PDs, even if you don't have an account with them. So it searches for all of them at once. You also can search other service companies if they've listed their inventory for sale. You can see pictures of the parts from all the different part distributors. So you can make sure the part you're holding in your hand matches what is what's on the screen or the part number that you put in. And this is the interface that actually drives the part pricing inside of our Blue Book product as well. And then you can connect your own inventory, which I mentioned. If you're using Service Desk or ePass, it'll do it automatically so that it keeps all of your inventory up to date in our system as well. All right. And then the last one is our Blue Book. The Blue Book is to make sure that you have consistent professional pricing. There's no guessing at this, so it's going to use the part number. It's going to drive an exact repair price. It allows you to create and present pricing with integrity. So it's going to be the same price for customer A, customer B, customer C, unless there's a different factor, like you have to travel farther to that customer, or it's in a special location like a high-rise building, etc. The pricing is up front. So if the job takes 5 minutes for your technician or 1 hour for your technician, it's the same price to the customer. It doesn't matter. So it turns off the stopwatch and the people who are sitting over the technician's shoulder. You know, are you done yet? Are you done yet? It gets rid of all of that. Technician confidence in the pricing, because it's not something that they're having to guess at. It's going to pull in the exact part. It's going to assign the labor and the service charge to it, so they have a total repair price. And then it projects professionalism for the homeowner. So it shows that, you know, they're not guessing, oh, it's about $200. It's not. It's $201.75. It's the exact price. All right. Removes pressures from technicians and CSRs. We've kind of gone over that already. Customers prefer that upfront pricing. Again, they can make an informed decision. Is it worth repairing? Do I want to repair it, etc. And then it increases your revenues because it's making sure that you're looking at all of those costs of doing business in. We've already kind of reevaluated that before, or pre-evaluated that before the pricing is set. And then the last thing is you get less customer complaints. And it seems counterintuitive that you may be charging a higher price, but you're getting less customer complaints. And a lot of that goes back to it being upfront. So if you're charging by the hour, what happens is the customers have no idea how much it's going to be until the repair is done. When you use a flat rate system, it turns around and they have exact pricing for the repair before you even start it. We usually recommend that you present it as it's either the service charge or the total repair price. Of course, the total repair price does have the service charge in it, but you're giving the customer the choice. Either here's your diagnosis, you either pay the service charge, or we can do the repair and it's this price instead. So it makes it really easy for presentation. In addition to that, we are running a nationwide member special. So all you have to do is register, sign up, and then when you get the email with the invoice, reply to that and say, hey, I'm a nationwide member. Send me some of your member information and we'll give you a $100 rebate back to the credit card that you used for your subscription. So that's the special that we're running for nationwide members. It's great if you can do it during the trade show, but it's not trade show only. So at this point, it's an ongoing program that we set up with Carmine to be working for you guys in the future. If you have any questions, you can email us, support@mypartshelp.com, or you can call us at 877-877-8635. Option 1 will get you right to our sales team. So that's all I have for this presentation. What I'm going to do now is go into a live presentation of the product. So like I said earlier, our diagnostics, MPH Search, and Blue Book make our Blue Book suite of products. I'm going to click right here on diagnostics. The way that the diagnostic works, you start typing in a model number. I don't know a lot of model numbers off the top of my head, so I usually use the KitchenAid dishwasher because it's one I can remember. So I type in KUD and then you can select. It's going to try to help you populate these based on what have been other models that have been done. The nice piece of this is, was that an L or was that a 1 or was that an I? The system is going to help to narrow that down for you so you have less input errors when you're putting stuff in. So I'm just going to select one out of the list here. The system on the left-hand side is showing an exact match for that model. So it's the SS6 stainless steel dishwasher. If I click here on the model that it's showing, it is that same model. If I go to the other side over here, this is a similar match, which means it's the family of it. So it could be a different color, it could be a newer generation or an older generation. If you don't have much in the exact match, the idea with the similar match is it might help give you some guidance on what might be in there. And this would be the models that it's pulling from in this particular instance. All right, so we're just going to read across here. It's the top 10 parts that have been used on this exact model. Okay, it's going to put them in usage order, so the most used parts at the top and then it decreases. We limit it to 10, but if you hit view more here, it will show you all of them, any repairs that have been done in our system. So the part number is the first one. If you have the entire suite, it's going to take and make that a hyperlink. We'll click on those in a minute so you can see where it goes. So in this case, the number 1 repair is a cable roller kit. We have 638 of just that one individual part that has been put in on this one stainless steel model. So to me, it kind of looks like that might be a common issue with this particular appliance. This is 36% of all repairs on this particular appliance. And ASC is associated parts. So 14% of the time, other parts were put on with it. 14% is not a big deal. 5% isn't a big deal. But you get down here to like this user interface at 77% or this door latch at 69%, it's going to be nice to know what else was put on with it. So if you click on those, let's just click on the door latch here. The door strike, occasionally the cable roller kit, are the two main things that are being put on. Now, if you notice, it shows 3, but it's the same door strike. One just has the WP in front of it after Whirlpool changed the part number on that. So it will show you both. Unfortunately, we don't have a way for the system to cross-reference that and merge those into just one, but it will show you all of it. Same thing with like the user interface or the control panel. So the control panel here requires 3/4 of the time something else to put on, and here's what it's putting on. So the user interface, the cable roller kit, and a second control board. All right. The next piece of this is the what is a service complaint. So if we click on that and we type in a common problem like no power, the system is going to take and try to narrow this down. And this is where it's really helpful for like the customer service agent. They could type in the customer said not coming on or no power or whatever, and it's going to try to highlight them. And so the stronger the green, the stronger the match. In this case, the fuse kit looks like it's probably the culprit, and it's pretty high on the list. So that's what I would plan on sending out with my technician. The nice thing is the customer service agent could run this, look in inventory and see if you have this fuse kit. And if not, don't schedule them for today, schedule them for tomorrow or the next day, etc., a little bit further out so that you can have the part in. And hopefully that does take care of it. And if it does, it's a one-trip repair as opposed to making multiple trips just to find out, oh gosh, if I would have had that fuse kit with me, I could have fixed it in one trip. So that's the idea of how that all works. Over here, the little person talking, what that is if you interface with Service Desk or ePass, it will show you your own customers' complaints within our system. So that's another really handy feature. And then again, if you hit show more results, it will show you all of the different repairs on this specific model of appliance. I'm going to go back and retype in that no power. And then we're going to take and we're going to go on to the next step, which is MPH search, and we're going to follow this fuse kit through the whole process. If anybody has any questions before we move on, we can take a quick question here, or you can save them until the end of the presentation, and we'll be able to dive in a little deeper into things if we do that. If you can just unmute yourself, ask your question, and then we'll move on from there. Nothing? Awesome. Am I talking too fast? Everybody good? If I am, just type slow down in the chat. I'll try to watch for it. Next, we're going to go over to MPH search, but I'm going to do it with the hyperlink here. So we've determined the fuse kit is the problem. We just click the little hyperlink, and it's going to go in, log us into our part distributors. In this case, I have a couple of sample accounts in here. And it's also going to put in hang on a second. If you have your inventory connected, it's going to show you your inventory. So in this case, in my demo account, I've got 2 of these in stock. They're in our test warehouse. The brand is a KitchenAid, and we have it in the system at $30. If you don't connect your inventory, system still works just fine. It just won't show you your live data with it. As you scroll down here, we've just put in reliable and Marcone, and then I'm able to set the stocking locations that we want to see. So in this case, Indianapolis has it. It's 1 shipping day. My cutoff time is at 3 p.m. and they have 6 of them in that location. Highland, Indiana, 2, etc. As you look at these numbers, you'll see that the color changes. So green, dark green is 1 day, light green is 2 days. Then you get into yellows, oranges, and reds. The idea there is just to make it a quick glance. Oh, it's green, we're good to go. They have it in stock. But if you start seeing reds and oranges, then it's like, oh, I need to schedule things a little further out. It's going to take us a few extra days to get them. You actually set those based on the stocking locations for your own company. So the system admin will set those for you. The next thing is these pictures are all clickable, and they're all coming in from different part distributors. So even if you don't have an account with that distributor, we've tried to make it so that everything's available. When you click on it, it allows you to enlarge that. It opens it in a new tab. Is that a 2-wire? Is that a 3-wire? Does it have an extra prong? Is this what I'm holding in my hand, etc.? So you just click close on that tab and it takes you right back to where you were. Now let's pretend that we didn't have this in stock and our distributors were out of stock. All we have to do is go up here and click on the brand. So in this case, it was a KitchenAid, and then search nationwide here. So the nationwide search, not connected to Nationwide Marketing Group, just our nationwide search. And it's going to go out and it's going to log into all the participating part distributors and all of our participating members who have inventory that they're willing to sell and look for that part. If they don't have the part in stock, they do not show up in our list. Our thinking there is we don't need to show you who doesn't have it. We only need to show you who does. So when they become hard to find parts, this is a really easy way to do a quick search countrywide and see if anybody has it, possibly that you can get a hold of it. We limit the stocking locations to 5, but if you click show more, it's going to show you all of them. We do that so that one part distributor doesn't dominate the entire screen, but you can see as much of it as you want to. All right, scrolling on down, you can see there's a bunch of distributors that have this part in stock. And again, the pictures are down at the bottom if you need to review those pictures further. In addition, found in members inventory here is at the top. So if I click on that, this is a hard part to find and none of the part distributors have it. Maybe one of your peers has it on their shelf and they're willing to sell it. So all you do is you click on that and it's going to show you the 3 closest geolocated companies to you. So, the quickest you can get it is kind of our philosophy, which much of this stuff, to make sure that you can get them as soon as possible for the best service to the customer. So it looks like there's some available out of Ware, New Hampshire. There's some in Wayne, New Jersey, and Rochester, New York. So if you click the contact seller over here, in this particular case, a company called Appliance Tech has 1 in stock and they're willing to sell it for $31.31. Okay, if you click this, I want to buy exchange information, it's going to send them an email with your information. It's going to send you an email with their information, and we're out. We don't handle the sell. We don't process the credit card. We don't do the shipping. We're not eBay or Amazon with this. We're only providing the data. Okay, we don't sell any parts ourselves. We're just simply data collectors and aggregators and providing it back in a useful form for people to be able to find stuff. So that's our nationwide search as part of MPH. And again, search my accounts, work on your exact account. It will use your usernames and logins to log into your vendors, and it's only going to show you your information in the search my accounts. Okay. The last step of this is going to be our blue book. And what that is that's meant to be a pricing guide. So the idea with this is we've done a lot of the legwork for people to know the average professional service company needs to charge a certain amount. And then if you're in a higher cost of doing business area, say California, downtown Chicago, downtown New York, you're going to need to adjust these because it's not going to be charging appropriately for you. And the whole system is customizable. So you can set different service charges, different part markups, and different labor rates if that's what you choose to do. Okay. So don't look at it as this is fixed and we can't do anything to make it work for us. It doesn't fit our market. You can. The system will allow you to do that. We do caution people, don't just start marking everything down because you think it's higher than what you're currently charging. That usually means you're undercharging for your customers. So All right, so to show you how this works, we're a technician, we're in here, we're working on a dishwasher, the brand was a KitchenAid. And then I don't always remember the part number I was working with, but we put a handy little clipboard here at the top and it remembers the last 10 things that we were interacting with. So I'm going to click that top one, which should be that thermal fuse, and it is. I'm going to click on it and say that's correct. Calculate job rate. The total for this repair is $254.65. We have the part in stock. Can I complete your repair for you today? So the idea with this is that it's quick and simple. It's meant to be done right in front of the customer. There isn't anything in here that is showing wholesale pricing or labor rates or anything of that sort. It's the total price. There's a few more pieces that you can work with on this, and then we'll kind of look at it from the back side as well. So you can put in your sales tax. So if I just hit this test 3, it added a few cents. If I put in sales tax here, it added a few dollars in, etc. And you don't have to put sales tax in here if you don't want to do it. Ultimately, you want your invoicing system to calculate your sales tax because it's going to be more accurate based on customer information. Other charges is there anything extra that doesn't go into a standard Blue Book price? Now, what is a standard Blue Book price? It's 3 factors: a service charge to go out and diagnose, a part with a markup, and then the final one is the repair labor. All those things together is the total Blue Book price. We don't recommend breaking that down to your customer, but if you feel like you want to, you can. But now all that does typically is open a bunch of worms. Oh, I could have found that price, 30 cents cheaper on eBay, and now you're gouging me. Why even open the can of worms? Our total repair is $254.65. We have the part on the truck. Can we make the repair? Well, how much is the part? I'm sorry, we don't sell parts. We sell the total service. I'm sure there's a cost factor in here for that part, but we don't actually sell the parts, okay? It's kind of like going out to a nice restaurant, ordering the steak dinner for $39.95 and then asking how much is the baked potato. So same kind of concept. Part of this is how you present it to the customer. Let me show you a few more of the other features in here. So other charges, let's say that you wanted to charge an extra $25 or $50 after hours, you can put an after hours charge in there. If you work in multiple areas and there's a price difference based on that area, you can put it in here by zip code, by city name, by zone, whatever you want to name it, you can name it, and then you just put that difference in here. So if your normal service charge is $119.95, but if you drive to the next town over, it's $139.95, you would just put that other town name in here and put a $20 price difference or whatever the difference is in here. And then your technicians can just select that as they go on. You can custom name this particular quote. So we can go in here and put Nationwide Marketing Group Test Demo, save. And then if we need to go back and look at it, we'll be able to go back and find it by how we name it. So a ticket number, a customer's name, whatever. You can add multiple jobs. You can do it by entering another part number. You can also use a drop-down list. So you can do things a number of ways. You can also start typing. So if we put in clean, so let's see, if we hit the clean air gap, it's going to add that into the job quote if we recalculate that. All right, so $294.60, and we just added that little cleaning service in for the air gap, okay? Next is the labor code. So if you're working on this and there's some circumstance that isn't the standard and you need to charge a little bit more labor, you can quickly and easily just go in and say, I need that to be a J13, which is the next labor level. It's going to add a little bit more labor into the job. You decide you don't want to do that, you can go back to reset and it's going to switch it back to what it was automatically. We also have tech options. What tech options actually is company discounts. So you can put discounts in here, but we didn't put the name discount because as a consumer, if I see the word discount, I assume I should get one, which I may or may not actually deserve one. So we hid that under the name tech options. You just click on it, it gives you a drop down. Do you want to apply a fixed amount such as a coupon? Do you want to give a percentage like a military or a senior discount? So if we hit coupon, it deducts $25 from the total. If I switch that to senior, it takes 10% off instead of the $25. But as you notice, as I'm clicking between these, they are not allowing me to apply more than one. It is a restriction that we put in that you can only apply one discount, okay? You can also, under other charges, you can put in negative amounts. So if you had something like a second appliance discount, you can apply that. That applies in the background if you watch our total. So it doesn't display on the screen, it applies it in the background. Okay, same with add-on charges. So after hours charge or anything that you want. If you want to put in a PPE charge or if you want a fuel surcharge, you can put those in. You can also set those as a default. Okay, so it automatically adds those in. How are we doing on time? We're doing pretty good. One of the really cool things about the system is you can go in and you can create custom jobs on the fly. So we're going to go in here real quick and we're going to create the nationwide custom cleaning job. All right, and we're going to hit not listed, add custom. It's going to go in and it's going to say, do you want to name it this or do you want to name it something else? I'm going to leave it as that. I'm going to tell it okay. Do we have any parts that we need to associate to this? In this case, I'm going to say no, but if you do, you can enter a part number right here, and then going forward, it's going to associate that part number to this repair job. So I'm just going to tell it okay. So it's going to make it what we call add-on labor, meaning that there's no parts involved. So it's something we're going to do extra that's on top of the normal repair. And then we assign the labor code. So we have 10 different labor levels, and you just pick one that you want. So in this case, I think that nationwide is worth a lot. So we're going to give it an X20, and we're going to hit save. Then we're going to recalculate here. And as you can see, what happens is it added that in and the price jumped significantly. So what is happening in the background with all this? Let's take a look. Right next to the total price, actually a couple more things I want to go over and then we'll jump into this, sorry. First, the 927 here is in green. Green means you're good to go. The price was able to pull from the part distributors, we're able to mark it up, the price is good to go. If it's yellow, it says your part distributor doesn't have it in stock from your normal stocking locations. We've done our best guesstimate at that, which should be a fairly educated, but it may be a little higher than what you would normally charge or a little less. So you should double check it and that it turns it yellow and gives you kind of that caution sign. If it's red, then it means we couldn't calculate anything with a part price, meaning we have no resources, no information, nothing to be able to calculate that. So the system will still do the labor and the service charge, but it won't put a part with markup into the pricing. All right, so that's the color coding. A few things up here, the part numbers that we're working with, it showed in my inventory. If you wanted to see the pictures, you click the little camera, it's going to bring those pictures up. Available in 6 days. If I click on that, it's going to open a little pop-up. Our system is calculating this based out of the reliable instead of the Marconi account. Okay, and if I click this little 3 lines, this is a little hidden button. So if the color changes, this little logo changes, but it's still a hidden button. We just click on that. Here's a breakdown of how the system calculated it. So the thermal fuse is $33.80. That should be the retail price plus markup. So we're trying to cover some of our handling charges for ordering that, delivering the part to the customer's house, etc. The labor to fix it is an F12, which is $90.90. And then we have a service charge here of $129.95. And then we added 2 different add-on labors, a clean the air gap, which is a C1, which is $39.95, and that new custom cleaning job that we added, which was $657.95. So when we look at our breakdown, here's our total parts. It's going to add, if you have multiple parts, it's going to add all the parts together. Service charge to go out and diagnose is $129.95. A KitchenAid is considered a premium versus a standard appliance. The repair labor to put that fuse kit in is $90.90. The additional labor is $697.90. And then if we had other charges, that would show up here. So if you had the PPE or a behind the scenes discount or anything of that sort, that would show there. Here's your subtotal. sales tax if you turn that on or you want it to calculate tax. And then discounts will show here at the bottom for your total of $927.55. Now I can close out of that. Let's remove a couple of these things that are extra so you get a little cleaner picture there. And let's go take a look at that again. So at this point, it's just the thermal fuse. Again, it has a service charge to go out and diagnose, the part with markup, the repair rate for that thermal fuse to be put in. There's no additional labor. There's no other charges. Our subtotal, our discount, there's your total at the bottom. You can show this screen to the customer, but all of a sudden now you're explaining everything. So what I try to tell people, keep that more internal if you can. If a customer really pushes, you can show it to them, but then now you need to understand all of those prices, and now you're explaining every one of those prices to your customer. So my preference is typically to teach people to avoid that. These two little green bars here are basically your vendors. So did my vendors return good information? Both of them came in green, you're good to go. I actually did a support ticket this morning with a customer where he had two different prices for two different technicians. And what we found is one of his vendors wasn't working for that time frame. And so they got the secondary vendor price, which was higher than their primary vendor. So one of the two quotes was like $30 higher. And we explained it to them, and they thought that was great because then they could see, and it did flag, it turned this yellow instead of green. So they knew that to watch out because something wasn't working quite right. The little side banner ads over here are just graphics. You can create anything you want and upload them. You can have it show for all appliances, or you can have it show for one specific. So if you only want this to show for dishwashers, it only shows up for dishwashers. If you want it to show, so that's what we have here is the Afresh for dishwashers, but a little higher up is the, it applies to all appliances. So refrigerators, dishwashers, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's going to show all the time, and you control that. In addition to this, this is all web friendly, meaning if you're using it on an iPad, it reshapes the screen and shows a little bit different. If you're working on a mobile phone, it will again continue to work. It drops the ads down to the bottom of the screen and reformats everything, and it will show everything to you that way. So that's it from the user side. From the admin side, this is where you control everything from your vendors. So you can go in and you can add vendors. You just click on add. Here's a list of the vendors that participate in our system. So it has the majority of the major appliance repair distributors or parts distributors in the US and Canada. You can control your stocking locations. So based on reliable parts, what order do we want them in? So if Dallas was an important one, we can drag that up and it will show higher on the list, etc. All right, so it's just a drag and drop functionality. You can manually add your inventory. We don't recommend it. We don't keep backups of people's inventories, but we say create an Excel spreadsheet, upload the spreadsheet into our system, and we have a template for people. Or connect it to your software if you're using Service Desk or ePass. And then under Blue Book, you can control the service charges based on the type of appliance you're working on. So the standard is the top three. Standard appliances are domestics. $119.95 is the service charge. And then we have it set using a Service Desk algorithm to mark up the parts. Premium appliances are imports, so LG, Samsung, Fisher-Paykel are usually going to be under premium, Bosch. And then boutique are going to be your high-end, your built-in, your Pro Styles, your Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, Gagano, etc. And then you can adjust all those simply by editing the pencil here. So if you want a different service charge, you adjust it there. If you want a different part markup model, you can select, do I want a simple markup, a tiered markup? The Service Desk algorithm is a bell curve. So if it's a cheap part, it marks it up a high percentage. If it's an expensive part, it marks it up a low percentage. So that's the concept, is it calculates it in the background. The rest of the settings, price model assignment. So if we say something's premium, but you feel like it should be standard, you can go in and switch it. You can set the system to waive the service charge with repair. all that does is it changes the service charge amount to 0, puts that money into the repair labor, but it doesn't actually change the price. So it doesn't truly waive any of the pricing. It just changes the way it displays. You can add your taxes. You just hit plus. You can name it whatever you want. So by city, county, zip code, whatever. You put in, is it on labor? Is it on service charge? Is it on parts? And is it default? So is it automatically going to apply that? So this is where you control all the settings, the discounts, the ads, everything that you need is all customizable. I want to show that real quick. So that's pretty much it for the presentation. And now what I'd like to do, if we can, is to open it up to questions. So you can just type those directly into the chat window if you'd like, or you can unmute yourself and just ask the questions. I can go back and show you any of the stuff again. If you have specific questions, you want to see something, you want me to, I apologize. If you want me to run something, just let me know. Nothing? Shannon, can people unmute, or is that?
Yeah, they're able to unmute themselves. I'll go ahead and send a request to unmute everybody at this time.
Okay, that'll be great. If you have any specific questions, you want more of a one-on-one, feel free to stop by the trade show booth, and I'm happy to do a breakout session with you. You can also reach out to us again at that support@mypartshelp.com, and we'd be happy to set up individual Zoom meetings or whatever to help you. So inside of ePass, the way that it works is you would right inside the ticket, the diagnostics tool, there's a little button, you just click on it and it's going to populate the model number of the service ticket and the customer complaint automatically for you and try to show you those results. And then it's going to turn around and there's a little blue book button. You click the blue book button inside of ePass and it's going to launch and automatically log that user in. So they can use all of these different functions directly from our website, but they don't have to remember usernames and passwords. Once they're done with the blue book, if they did a quote, it brings it back in and they just click another place in there and it will drop that quote right into the service ticket for that customer. I don't have any screenshots of that. I don't have a live version of ePass here where I could actually show that to you, but that is how it works. The idea here is to make it so that it works as easily as possible within the software itself so that people aren't having to remember multiple passwords and log into different things. The diagnostics tool is fully integrated. The others, it hot links to them or launches it automatically and logs them in. And then it'll bring that information right back into ePass. Any other questions? Awesome. I guess I either talked really fast or skipped a whole bunch of stuff that I wasn't planning, or you guys are just really smart and caught everything first time. You're welcome.
I just submitted a little note there to everybody to let you know that when the session will be ending, you're more than welcome to stay on here. But we also have a link here to go on to our next show going on in May as well. And as Jack said, we do have our trade show booth opening at the end of the last hour. So we look forward to seeing you guys at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here at Service Company Solutions booth.
Awesome. Thanks, Shannon. I can stick on for a few minutes if anybody has any other questions or anything. Otherwise, feel free to stop by and say hi, ask any questions that you may have at the, we'll be here all 3 nights. So awesome. All right, if you don't have any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and close out the meeting. Thank you for joining me today. Hi, David. We actually just concluded the class. Did you have any questions? Just go ahead and unmute if you did. I'm happy to answer them while I'm sitting here. We've got a few minutes before we're supposed to be done. Are you there? I'm not able to hear you. You might try typing it into the chat. Let's see. I'm sending you a chat real quick so you can respond. Okay. Well, we did a quick presentation on our suite of products, which has the MPH Diagnostics, the MPH Search, and the Appliance Blue Book. We'll be at our trade show booth this afternoon. Let me reshare my screen with you here, and I can kind of show you a little bit of it real quick, but I don't know that we're going to have time to do a ton. I don't want to keep you out of another class, but MPH Diagnostics is a tool that helps people pre-diagnose before they go out. So it's using closed service tickets to try to help predict what may be an issue with an appliance. Let me refresh this. And what I typically do, let's refresh it here. Here we go. Is you start typing in a model number and the system tries to help. So if you select them, these are KitchenAid dishwashers. It's the only prefix that I kind of remember easily. So I usually use it. You just select one out of the list. And what it shows you here on the screen is the top 10 parts based on closed service tickets from other servicers on what's been repaired. So in this case, the number one repair is a cable roller kit. It's been repaired 638 times based on this exact stainless steel model. Okay, so that's kind of important to remember that it's not all KitchenAid dishwashers. It's just this one very exact model that it was repaired that much. That's 36% of all repairs. And ASC is associated parts. So when this part was put in, 14% of the time, other parts were put in with it. Not super relevant, but you get down here to like this user interface. If you're putting this user interface in, 77% of the time it needs more parts. So the additional parts that you would do, if you just click on it, it's going to show you. So control panels, there's a control board, ribbon cables, of course, the cable roller kit down here, etc. So the idea here is if you can kind of pre-diagnose some of this stuff before you go out and not have to make 2 trips, your dollars ahead. It's also great for customer service agents who may not be a technician, but they may be able to use this service to help kind of pre-diagnose a little bit and schedule customers a little further out if you need to get parts in before you go out. So it's a helpful tool there as well. There is another additional function. You click on what is the service complaint, and you can type in things like no power. And it's going to go in and it's going to highlight any parts that were associated to the customer complaint of no power. You can also do things like leaking or not cooling or not heating or whatever, and it's going to go in and try to help with that. From there, you can take, and I'm giving you the Reader's Digest version. And if you're not that old, well, you know what that means. I'm giving you the short version of this. Unfortunately, I am that old. I remember my parents having Reader's Digests around all the time. So, so the next portion of this is we've hyperlinked these part numbers right into our MPH search tool. So if I click on that, it's going to launch the MPH search tool. It's going to go log into my account with Reliable and Marcone, and it's going to say, and it's whoever your vendors are. I just have test accounts with these two. That's the reason it's showing up this way. It's going to log you right in. It's going to say those parts are available. If you connect your own inventory with Service Desk or ePass, this will take and actually you can connect it so it automatically updates this, which is really handy. In this case, I put 2 in our test warehouse just so I have something to show people. And then it also is pulling in real-time live data from Marcone and Reliable. So Reliable has it. They have 6 of them in Indianapolis, and I can get it in 1 working day. So the idea there is to get quick access to the information. Also, the pictures are clickable. So you can get a nice large view. Is this a 2-wire? Is this a 3-wire? Is there an extra prong on here? Is this exactly what I'm holding in my hand? Okay. You close that, it puts you right back where you were. If the part distributors didn't have this in stock, you can select which type of appliance you're working on. In this case, it was a KitchenAid. Search nationwide, and the system will go out and log into all of the part distributors and our other members who have inventory they're willing to sell, even if you don't have an account with anyone. So with any of these people. So you do have to have 1 account with someone in order for our system to validate you as a repair company. But other than that, you don't have to have an account with Automatic and 1 with Dayton and 1 with Day. It will look at everybody. It'll also show you how many they have in which location. We do limit it to 5 showing, but you can expand it to see more. We do that so that 1 part distributor doesn't dominate the entire screen. All right. And then if your part distributors don't have access to it, you can click here and it's going to show you people who have it that are close to you. So we limit this to 3, I believe, and it's based on your geolocation. So it's going to try to find you the 3 closest parts. But if you're interested, you could reach out to, let's see who's in Ware, New Hampshire. That's just down the road from us here. AC Fast Appliance Service has 1 of those in stock, and they have it as a make an offer. So you would just make them an offer to try it, buy it. If you click I want to buy, it's going to send them an email with your information, you an email with their information, and we're out. We're not, we don't handle it. We're not an eBay or Amazon. We don't actually sell parts or ship parts or anything of that sort. So just the data to get you to hopefully be able to find it and not have to walk a call. And then the last piece is the pricing guide, the blue book. And what you do there is you go and you select the appliance. So we were working on a dishwasher. It was a KitchenAid. And I don't remember the part number off the top of my head, but if I go up here to the clipboard, it remembers it for me, the last 10 parts that I've interacted with. That's a thermal fuse. I agree with that. I click on it. I calculate the job rate. Total is $254.65. We have the part in stock. You can see right there my inventory. Would you like me to complete the repair today? So the idea with that is that it makes it quick and easy for customers to be able to see in real-time pricing without a big amount of breakdown. The technicians aren't making anything up. It was all driven off of that part number, etc. So it's meant to remove a bunch of the headaches, get consistent pricing, and ultimately, hopefully make you a little more money than what you're currently making. All the pricing is professional pricing. We based it all on the average cost of doing business, but the settings in the system will let you customize all of that. So if you need a little different service charge or you need to have a different part markup, etc., you can customize all that based on your market and where you're doing business. Let me see here. All my chats and stuff went away, so looking for my functions. So if you're typing any questions, I wanted to make sure I was covering it. So that's the system in a nutshell. It has a lot of little bells and whistles that I didn't cover for you. We will be at our booth at 6 o'clock Eastern. So feel free to come back there and we can do a little bit more in depth. I can also show you the admin side of things, etc. If you wanted to see some more of that. So I hope that helps. If you have any other questions, feel free to go ahead and type those in. All right, I'm about ready to wrap up here. I know that there's a number of other things that are starting here in the next couple of minutes. You can, I'm going to go ahead and type in here, support at myheartshelp.com. If you have any, if you need anything, you can reach us at that, or our phone number is 877-877-8635. And let's see here, just a quick question. Showed us once, but how do you sub for manufacturer that is not there? So if a manufacturer isn't in the system, a couple of things. If it's a pretty common manufacturer, let us know, because what we can do is we can go in and create them in our system. We have to do it from the admin side. A user can't do it. But we can do it with no jobs, which means you can go in and create custom jobs for that specific brand. And we've done that with like AGA. We've added them in there, but we didn't build out a job list in there. Otherwise, what we recommend is you pick the most comparable brand. So in this case, let me start a new ticket. And you go in, and let's say that something like Beko wasn't in there, but Beko would be comparable to, say, Bosch. You can go in here and click on, let's do a refrigerator. And then you could click on a Bosch refrigerator, use the little drop-down list, and what are you actually working on? So is it an ice maker? Is it a defrost heater? Is it a control board? So you just pick one out of the thing. So let's do the ice maker assembly. Calculate job. All right, so it's 381. Now what you're going to want to double check on this is the part price. So based on that assembly, it's using this part number. So your part price might need to be adjusted if it's a lot more or a lot less. And again, this is suggested retail plus some additional markup to cover shipping and handling and all of that. Does that help? What's your company name, David? Oh, okay. Yep. So you guys are fairly new to it. So how are you liking it so far? Well, let me know if I can help with anything. I can spend a little bit more time with you if you need me to. We want to make sure that you're comfortable with it. The idea, if you are the point of contact from our end, is if there's anything you can't answer for them, then you come to us and we'll do our best to get you up to speed with that. But I think it's going to do a really good a job for you in both, profitability and making sure that things are consistent for the customers. All right, sounds great. Enjoy the rest of the show, and I'll be back at the trade show booth at 6. So if you need anything, just feel free to stop on back there, and we'll answer any additional questions. You have a good afternoon.